Welcome back, students. Today, let's learn the lesson Princess September, written by Somerset Maugham, taken from your textbook It So Happened for Class 8. Now, let's look at the introduction of the chapter. The lesson Princess September, written by Somerset Maugham, revolves around the youngest daughter of the King and Queen of Siam, named September. It all begins when her parrot dies and a singing bird comes in its place. Her sisters then provoke her to lock the free bird in a cage if she did not want to lose him. Once she locked the bird in the cage, he refused to eat or sing and instead became miserable. Thus, the little princess allowed the bird to be happy in its own way because she loved him so much. The bird, on the other hand, loved the little princess and kept on visiting her. Now, let's look at the summary of the chapter. The king and the queen of Siam had so many daughters that they decided to name their daughters January, February, March till they named their youngest daughter September. The king had a strange habit of giving away gifts on his birthday instead of receiving them. He thus gifted all of his daughters a green parrot in a golden cage. The princesses gave the parrots an hour each day and taught them to say God save the king and Pretty Polly in no less than 7 Oriental languages. Princess September's parrot died one day and she got very upset. She kept on crying and nothing her maid of honors did comforted her. They consulted the queen who advised them to put her to bed without any supper. The maids of honor did it and left her alone. The princess did not stop crying and suddenly she noticed a little bird sitting on her window. The bird sang so beautifully that she jumped up to sit on her bed. It even made her forget about the parrot and that she was hungry because she had missed her supper. The little bird asked the princess to let him be her pet bird. Princess September got delighted and the bird sang her to sleep that night. Next day, when the maids of honor brought her breakfast, she fed the bird rice with her hands and bathed him in her saucer. She then decided to show the bird to her family. Thus, she went about the palace and the little bird sang a different song for everyone. The king and the queen were delighted on seeing the melodious bird. The queen felt it was right for her to send the princess to sleep without supper. The king, on the other hand, felt happy on seeing the bird sing, as he was tired of listening to the parrot say Pretty Polly in 7 different languages. It reminded him of his counselors who could also say the same thing in 7 different ways without making sense in any one of them. This made the 8 sisters unhappy. The 8 sisters put their heads together and went to see Princess September. They offered to buy her a parrot like theirs, but September refused as she was happy with her little singing bird. The princesses then provoked Princess September to lock him in a cage when he returned, as this way she can be sure of his possession. This made September uneasy, and upon hearing that the bird almost did not come back that night, she locked the bird, telling him that her mother's cats were prowling around that night. The bird agreed only if she let him out the next morning. The next morning, September refused to let him out as she was afraid she'd lose him. The bird, on the other hand, got upset and refused to eat or sing. The 8 sisters felt that September had made a wise decision by listening to them and they asked her to stay firm on her decision. They told her that it was very ungrateful of the bird to not eat anything and did not to understand her love for the bird. Princess September was not very sure about it, but she decided to wait till the next day and see if he would get used to it. The next day she received no reply from the bird. Upon seeing the bird lay on his side at the bottom of the cage frightened September, who then instantly got him out of the cage. She started crying miserably, and when a drop of her tears fell upon the bird opened his eyes. On seeing that he was no longer surrounded by bars, he told September that he sing in a cage, and if he won't sing, he'd die. Princess September decided to let him free. The bird promised to come back. Her sisters mocked her for her decision, but the bird did come back. She left her window open day and night for the bird to come in as he pleased. This helped her grow into an extremely beautiful woman. She got married to the king of Cambodia. Her sisters, on the other hand, never left the window open at night, and thus they grew up to be ugly and undesirable. They were given away or married to the king's councillors with some tea and a Siamese cat. Thank you, children.